Hi, it's me, Madam Onça, and we are back with Totally Tea and Tarot. I took about a month off of shooting blogs because I had 11 million festivals to do, to produce, to travel to, and so forth. But we are back, and today in this session we're going to be working on fives. We're going to do a whole section on fives, specifically today the Five of Cups. Now, as has been our habit, the tea part is that I've been talking a little bit about the herbs that were corresponded to the tarot cards by the makers of the Herbal Tarot. And now to be clear, I don't know those folks, I don't know anything about it, but I do know that herbs are great. And diversity of tea and diversity in your palate is great. So today, what they assigned for the Five of Cups is Horsetail. It's supposedly great for to help with water retention. In other words, it helps to get extra water out of your body, and generally with bladder issues and incontinence issues and so forth. And unless you're one of those people who is blessed with a perfect immune system or perfect health care, it's always good to know what herbs you might call in for some help. So, horsetail. Oh, it's really hot. It doesn't taste like horses. Anyway, there's some information for you. And may your water not be retained, but the information be retained. Anyway, also what I love to do is to work with three different decks. I should have prepared my cards beforehand. What do we got? Cups. Sorry. Oh, here we go. So fives, my wonderful teacher, my original tarot teacher, Kate Nordstrom, who you should Google her up. She's also a very good painter, expressive painter. Her tarot teacher told her that the fives are the cards of chaos. You know, 2 was starting, 3 is getting stable, 4 is like rock solid, and then 5 is where the tables get flipped in the temple and everything starts to change. So we tend to experience change. Unless it is change we invited, we often experience it as conflict. So the decks that we're going to be working with today are my deck, which is the World Spirit Tarot, and this is actually the original edition. These ones are silly expensive now. And then also I've got the Cosmic Tribe Tarot, which we will talk a bit more about. And I believe this other one is called the Legend of Arthur Tarot. Sorry, there's a talkative ginger cat here somewhere. Come on in, cat. So let's talk about this. Cups, of course, are about emotions and relationship, sometimes creativity or spirituality as well. But they're definitely really about how we feel, what we experience as the vessel containing our feelings is jostled in this life. And we'll start with the imagery in mind, which I know the best. This card is often referred to as the card of disappointment, disenchantment, and so forth. You can see here we have a figure who is clearly crying over spilled milk. In illustrating this, I really wanted to make someone who looked very lean and sort of down to the bone, as it were. And if you've ever encountered real true grief, not just a bummer day, but like true grief, that whole thing about, are you sitting down? There's a reason that energetically confronted with true cutting emotional hardship, we tend to fall to the ground or feel that we have. And that, I believe, is because instinctively we will literally want to be grounded. So you can see this person is falling to the ground. When this card comes up, it usually describes the dashing of hopes. This is the part where you realize that relationship is just not going to turn around, that this work environment really is more toxic than it is beneficial. This is the part where, unfortunately, in the fives, you just have to take your knocks, feel your feels, try to make some good analytic decisions moving forward. And when you are well enough, and when you are able enough, jump on that horse and ride. You can also see in this particular rendering, but this is a pretty classic version of the image, some of the cups are spilled, some of the cups are not yet. So there's that notion in here that while your emotional cast, your emotional experience is totally legitimate, it's totally predicated on reality, what's actually happening, when you've had your feels, if you're able, there may yet be something in the situation to salvage. So when she is done crying over spilled milk, she may prevent those last vessels from spilling. This is never a fun card to get in a reading, but I do love this card because it's very clear and it really tells you it's not just you, it's not in your head. this is really happening. This is your actual life. And this too shall pass, because, we come along to the 6, as we will, in a few weeks, and the 6 of Cups is great. In these other versions of this card, we see, this is Lancelot and Elaine in the 5 of Cups, for those of you who are well-versed. Again, this is the Legend of Arthurian, the Legend Arthurian Tarot, sorry. So you can see, here she is, looking out the window, realizing that, she is not going to get out of this relationship what she hoped for. She sort of got that caught in a gilded cage quality. I will say, this is a nice little deck. It's compact, and it has a attractive labyrinth on the back. So for those of you that are Celt inclined, Holy Grail inclined, Arthurian inclined, it's good stuff. And then this is a little bit more of a wild and crazy deck. This is the Cosmic Tribe. I'm not sure if I've mentioned it in any of these before. You can see there's a lot going on there. This is one of the early, I want to say it's an early member of the sort of Photoshop family, when people realize you can take photos and photo collage them, essentially. It is a very Thoth sort of deck, very in that regard. It was made by Steevee Postman, who, while I do not know Steevee, I do know many of the people in the deck, because they are photo collages of real people in the radical fairy community, which, of course, for those of you that don't know, are a fantastic community that is international, but is centered in Tennessee, and it is a gay, positive, sex positive, pagan, sustainable living community lifestyle and spirituality, if I could say that. Basically, it means that they have a really great saucy deck that is very traditional in the Thoth sort of sense, and has a lot of unapologetic nudity. And it's also really cool in that the approach that Steevee took to addressing, I love it because it has that representation notion that I like to talk about. It's really important that people see people of their own body types, their own orientation, their own sort of subcultures reflected. That is something we can really hope for in this modern era. It is sort of like Power Windows. It is the least you should expect, I feel like, from a deck these days and these times. And one of the ways that Steevee addressed that particularly is that with the Lover's card, there is a 2-woman couple, a 2-man couple, and there is a male and female couple. So you could pick whatever might speak most to your experience. But anyway, so back to this deck, you see here we are in the 5 of Cups. So there's this sense, like there's a rainbow, but there's also a blazing fire. There's definitely a sense of things. There's conflict, there's hope of change, but this is perhaps not your best day. This looks to me like you came home and your trailer was on fire. So this is a fun deck as well. That's pretty much the synopsis. When the 5 of Cups comes up, it means that you are in for some disillusionment, and it may have been a long time coming. Maybe you're just now willing to look at the reality of what you're confronted with. It's tough stuff, but the good news is that you will hopefully be wiser once you get it together. See what can be salvaged of your situation, your options, your dignity, what lessons you can learn. Get on that horse and ride. Get on that rainbow and coast, and move towards feeling more empowered. So that's it. Don't forget, Horsetail was our friend for today, and the 5 of Cups are tough. All the 5s are tough, but we will power our way through them. So thanks, and visit me on the internets and everything. Again, I'm Madame Onça from the World Spirit Tarot. Thanks. Bye.